Hi, welcome to the Whiska Chicks podcast. My name is Amy.
And I'm Amy's sister, Suzie.
We are going to be talking to you about Whiska Chicks. You may ask yourself, what in the world is a Whiska Chick? Well, it's a term our Nana, our grandmother, used to describe anything and everything, like a doodad or a thingamajig.
For our purposes today, Amy and I have framed Whiska Chicks as those random moments in life that accumulate over time that compel us to grow, learn, and evolve. Whether it's good, bad, ugly, funny, or sad, with each Whiska Chick comes a lesson, an aha moment, a lotus blooming from the mud and muck, resulting in wisdom and healing.
Whiska Chicks have brought us both to a place in our lives where we love ourselves and speak our truths. The last thing Nana said to me before she passed on was, "Be true to yourself, little A." That was the nickname she had for me. The angel spoke straight through her in that moment, and I knew I had quite a journey ahead of me. It was that Whiska Chick, the last Whiska Chick she delivered, that set me off on an incredible growth journey. She is the force behind this creative endeavor. We dedicate every Whiska Chick to her. We're grateful you're here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Whiska Chicks podcast. I'm Suzie.
And I'm Amy.
And we're back to talk about noise. What's that noise? No, we're gonna talk today about how noises affect us, how noises can trigger us, how noises can make us want to hurt someone.
Very specific noises.
Very specific noises. So I know this is a very random topic, but that's what a Whiska Chick is. So yes, true. So if you're someone that's ever somewhere and you hear a noise that just makes you want to, it just lights that fuse and you're gonna.
But it's a consistent noise, right? It's this. Whenever you hear this particular noise, it just sends you through the roof. Crawl out of your skin, that sort of thing.
Crawl out of your skin. Get back in when it's over. Yeah. So you're not talking about a noise of me being like, not like that. That's not annoying.
No, not at all.
Because I think that's annoying as hell.
I think after about 30 seconds, I probably have to smack you, but.
Yeah, anyway, I mean, I do that with songs a lot where I hear like there's a part of a song that's got like a like something like that going on, and I'm like, shut up, or I just like want to turn the volume down, and I need to take like 5 deep breaths. I'll be like looking at the computer at work and I'm like, does anybody else hear that? Like, what the hell is going on? But anyway, you and I had a conversation a long while ago. I think you were driving somewhere and I don't even know how we got on the topic of it, but we were talking about noises and you spat out this word. And I'm like, you are so full of crap. Like, you're making that up. Like, this does not exist. And of course, I Googled it, and lo and behold, there it is. But there really is a term or a condition that people have for this noise sensitivity, and it's called
misophonia.
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 Yeah, not like you're not like miso the soup and phonia. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway. This is a real thing.
Disorder.
It's like a real disorder. And so we're not trying to make you think that you have this disorder, but because I know there's like a phobia for everything, right? Like I know a lot of people that can't stand it when there's like a wet towel and you rub it together.
That's misophonia.
That is?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was wet towelophobia.
No, because it makes a specific noise. And like, I know someone very close to me, like if you rub your hands together, just that sound of, she goes through the roof. She's like, stop. It's like she can't stand it. So.
Oh my God. I
So
mean,
it can be a
this
very
isn't.
quiet noise.
Yeah,
But
I
it's very
mean,
specific.
I'm not laughing because people with misophonia are funny. I'm laughing at our noises, yeah,
Well, but I recognize that I full blown have misophonia. I have very specific sounds that just make me want to hit the roof. I mean, like I like clench my fists and just want to scream. But in herein lies the problem, because they're very the noises that I'm super sensitive to are like people chewing and swallowing. Especially if it's really loud, like, and or liquid, like if someone, like, you can hear the liquid like going down the throat. I'm just like, oh. And I recognize that I probably make some of those noises myself, although because I'm so sensitive to it, I like make a conscious effort to try not to make any noise when I chew or swallow. um, or coughing, like super loud, sharp coughing just makes me go through the roof. Clearing of the throat, a super loud clearing of the throat. Hucking loogies. Oh my God. I just want to shoot somebody. But so these are all like very just kind of natural things. And people can't help it if they have a cough, and people need to chew and swallow their drink and food. And what do I do? Go, stop it, you can't eat or drink, but you have to just like stomach it and somehow deal with it, because they're just kind of like these naturally occurring sounds, but they literally, like, I want to scream. I just want to scream at the top of my lungs. It drives me absolutely batty. So it's hard, right? Because you can't, someone's got a cold or a cough, you can't go, shut up. They've got a cough.
you need a Ricola. I used to, years ago, when I was working at the job previous to the one I have now. This is a true story. There was someone in the break room, when they ate, they would like make little noises while they were eating, like animal noises, like I'm like, are you having sex with your lunch right now? It was just really weird because and then it's not ethical to be like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, what?
Exactly.
Where is that coming from? I don't think I have misophonia, but I just generally get annoyed with people sometimes, and what comes, and the noises, and stuff like that. Where I work now, there's a guy, like, I work in a produce department, and we share like kind of a backroom area that's separated by like the door that leads to their refrigerator, and there's like a guy that stands back there. There's nothing open, mind you. Like, this is all like stuff in boxes, but I'm just like standing at the computer, like typing away, and he's like, like, probably, it would
Oh.
probably make you nuts. Yeah. But I'm like, what do you, and then my boss looks at me and she's like, what is he doing with whatever he's not expelling it on the ground in there? She's like, what is he doing with it?
He's swallowing it.
Yeah. Ew. So let me ask you this. Did you have, I mean, not that you knew what misophonia was when we were small, but remember when like we would be eating Captain Crunch or something, and it's like, like, did that bug you?
So that doesn't bug me. Like I
Oh,
said,
okay.
it's very specific. It's like when you hear the teeth gnashing and like the saliva moving around the food, kind of that juicy chew. I just cannot do it. But even worse than that is the swallowing of liquid. Like when you hear the
juicy chew.
juicy
Sorry, it sounds like a gum.
gum, like juicy fruit.
Some juicy chew.
Remember Freshen Up? That was a
Oh my
juicy
god.
chew.
The exploding middle.
But as I've gotten older, it's definitely gotten worse, but I've also gotten more sensitive to sound in general, sound and bright light. And the other thing that has kind of been, progressing in at the same time as that is my sensitivity, my being an empath. That's been developing. So, and when I looked up misophonia, it said, that people who are empathic actually they're more likely to have misophonia. So, I think being an empath and being a sensitive, you have some of these issues, and it's sounds, light, just repetitive noise, loud music. So I don't think the loud music and all that doesn't make me crawl out of my skin, but I am sensitive to it. It's like, and I can only take so much of it before I just need to go crawl in a hole and have peace and quiet. So, I found it interesting that as my abilities and my sensitivities have increased, so has the misophonia. So yeah, I think it's all related according to what I read up on it a bit. And so people who do have misophonia or are sensitive to sounds and stuff, it's important that they spend time alone. And it's just that whole thing, it's that whole, I can be an introvert and an extrovert, but I'm
Yeah.
becoming more and more introverted as I get older. And it's like, if I don't have my alone time, I'm toast. I'm absolutely toast. So
I'm toast.
I'm toast.
So toasty.
But what are
Well,
some of the things that annoy you sound wise?
oh my God. Well, so I mean, generally, like, I don't. Okay, well, there's sounds that I hear that give me trauma responses, and so like I have dental anxiety. Like when I go to the dentist. Luckily, I have an amazing dentist, but like if I hear a sound that resembles something I would hear at the dentist's office, like I get like that feeling of like ugh, like that a drill or the thing that sucks all the the thing that sucks all the shit out of your mouth or something while they're working on you. Like so I have more like I have like two things that bother me when I hear them. I have sounds like that trigger things that I have like trauma with, or like I'll hear, because I'm a classical musician, so I'm very sensitive to like musical things. So if somebody says the same thing over and over, or like a song is playing and I'm like, all I hear is like the I'm like, stop, that's like that makes me freaking nuts. But sometimes like I do get bothered by, like you say, people chewing and swallowing. So I'm like, can you not hear how loud that is when you do that? That work and
Exactly.
it's like, I don't know. But
When I would go ahead.
but I mean, I am also empathic, but I think you vibrate a little bit higher than I do, but I think that your sensitivity, I mean, when you told me about the misophonia, I thought you were just making that up. And when I started hearing things while you and I would talk that I know triggered your misophonia, and then I just start laughing. So at least like you laughed through it, but
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah. Maybe I have misophonia to Taylor Swift songs too.
You know what? It's interesting. One of the other things I read up on is that it typically doesn't get diagnosed, right? It people suspect or kind of pocket it into the OCD category, which I have a bit of. I have a
Just
lot
a
of
wee
Virgo
bit.
traits. Everything has its place, and I can't sleep until things are in their place. So I do believe I have a healthy amount of OCD, but it does seem to go hand in hand with that, as well as people who have had childhood trauma, and it kind of goes. I read some descriptions around that, and I think all of us, to some extent, have had childhood trauma. I know Suzie and I have. So I have to kind of bring that in too. But yeah, it's something that can be extremely debilitating. It used to affect me at work. back in the day when I was working in the hospital. I worked in, I had a pediatric specialty, so I was in the peds ICU a lot. And then when I was working the adult side of things as a dietitian, I think we've mentioned that a few times, but I'd be in the ICU or the CCU where people are on lots of equipment and machinery, and they've got a trachea, they're on the ventilator. You know, I would be sitting there doing my work, and the respiratory therapist would come in, or the nurse they'd need to suction people, kids, whatever, and meaning that, they put a tube, in the airway, no matter how it's being accessed, depending on the state of the patient. And they would suction like all the phlegm and the mucus out, and I'd have to leave. I couldn't do it. It kind of goes back to hucking loogies and stuff, just that and knowing that it's just phlegm and or if a patient started vomiting, oh my God, I just have to leave. Vomiting is another one. I can't stand the gagging and it's just.
You're okay with the cat meme with the no.
That's true. See,
Because that makes
it's
us
super
laugh.
specific. It is super specific, so it's interesting.
So how do you, so there's obviously like no treatment or possibly a cure for misophonia. So like, how do you deal with it?
I breathe deeply. I like have to pause and like just take a deep breath and try to zone out for a second and control my anger, because it literally elicits a stress response. I mean, it like raises my, and you know what a stress response does, right? It raises all your cortisol and all the hormones that you don't want raised, that whole fight or flight kind of thing. And it's exhausting. And so I either plug my ears, or I just try to breathe through it, try to zone out, especially if I'm sitting across from someone who I love very much and they're making all kinds of noises that I can't stand. I have to just breathe through it, because if I'm in an agitated mood already, like if I'm already irritated about something, I'll just have to go into another room and like scream, close my fists, stomp my feet. I mean, I have to get the stress out somehow. Or I will tell the person. I finally caved and said something. Normally I stuff it down, like that. I won't say that noise is driving me crazy. I can't take it. But I finally did that, and I felt better after I stopped stuffing it so much. But still, it still gets to me. I have to use all my meditation skills. Honestly, I'm learning. So, but it's not always easy, because if I'm already in an irritated mood, it doesn't work. So
I remember this cartoon. I think it was whoever did the Tom and Jerry cartoons. Was that Chuck Jones? I think that was it.
Hanna-Barbera.
No, it wasn't Hanna-Barbera that did Tom and Jerry. I think it was. No. That's a whole other podcast. I'm just kidding.
We haven't said that in the last 2 episodes.
I know. So let's make up for it now. No, it's like, okay, it's the same people that did the Tom and Jerry cartoon, but it wasn't Tom and Jerry. It was just like another storyline, and it was this bear that was trying to hibernate and sleep, and there was like some little dog that kept like annoying him or waking him up, and he'd come out in like his nightgown and he had like a sleeping cap on, and he'd just be like, "Shut up, quiet, I can't stand noise." Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So I use that. You say, I ask you like, how do you deal with it? That's me. And so when I do that, people are like, "Where did you get that from?" I'm like, "A cartoon when I was a kid." I'm like, "Shut up, quiet."
It helps because when that fight or flight response comes up, that's our mechanism to like run from dinosaurs back in the cave day, and that's how the stress response is worked off, and we don't work off our stress responses anymore. We sit and they reside in the tissues now. They live in our bodies, and we get knots and pains and headaches and all
The
kinds of
tissues
stuff.
have issues.
If the issues are in the tissues, that's what they say. No, seriously. But that comes from Ayurveda and yoga, and that's Ayurveda is actually based on that premise. The tissues are called the dhatus, but anyways, so having a way just to kind of release it is important, and so I love that. Noise, quiet, stop! I need to learn.
Can't stand noise. Well, you asked me a few minutes ago about noises that I'm sensitive to. I'll tell you another thing, and I know this is probably because I never had children that were human. I always have had fur children. But I've worked in retail environments or grocery environments basically my entire working career, and so when kids have so when I look at a child, I just see a little person. I'm not like, no, I talk to them like a little person because that's what they are. I don't use like a kid voice or anything like that. And, but kids either love me or they run and scared. I don't know why, but I mean, I'm not putting anything off that would do that. But anyway, working in retail environments, you often see, and as a matter of fact, I was somewhere today. I was dropping off a package to be sent back with FedEx at a Walgreens. They have like FedEx drop off, and I'm waiting in line, and there's this woman holding a package, and she's got like some 4-year-old kid on her arm, and the kid sees like cookies on the shelf and can't have them, and she's like, "I want the cookie," and I'm like, "Shut up, quiet." But and I'm just like I'm looking at the kid, like giving her this energy, and the mom was handling it really well. She didn't get mad. She's like, "Well, then tell me what you want. Like, use your words." And that's great. She's trying to get the kid to communicate. But there's when kids want something and that's how they communicate it, by that emotion, that bothers the crap out of me. And then there's like just the kids that are like just straight up like brats about it and pitching fits, which is probably what I did a lot as a child. Maybe that's why I'm sensitive to it. But but what gets me, it doesn't bother me. It actually makes me want to laugh is like when, you'll see like a kid running around, right? I'm like, that kid's going to fall. That kid's going to eat crap. Nothing good's going to come out. And then here it comes, bam. And then there's like that silence. And then it goes up and down like an Indy car, almost like me. So
don't forget that little moment where they and they hold their breath, and you're just waiting for the explosion.
Yeah,
it's like
you're like, oh, it's coming because I heard it. But so I mean, kids fascinate me anyway. But it's more just like I've seen so many parents and how they deal with it. And I think to myself, oh man, that kid's going to be so messed up. Or then I'm like, hey, that kid's going to have an awesome life. I mean, you see a lot, but I do get like when kids are crying or throwing a fit, I have to walk away because I just want to be like, will you shut up? It's like, this is why I don't have children. This is why I don't have children. But I have a friend that I've known for a very long time. We used to work at Starbucks together. And every time a kid would be like, I want a hot chocolate. I want a hot chocolate. And then Taylor's just like looking at him like they're, a steaming pile of something. And he'd look at me and be like, children carry more disease than rats, and then like we'd start laughing. But anyway, Taylor, if you're listening, that one was for you. But yeah, kids, those emotional kid noises, and maybe I'm sensitive to them because I feel like that's how I got attention when I was little.
Possibly. Sound sensitivities are related to childhood and childhood traumas, so it absolutely can be connected. Absolutely. But
part of me just wants to laugh sometimes too. Just
I know.
That kid just ate crap. But it's not funny. I mean, should we tell people just on the side what you used to do when we would sit on the beach?
What?
Candidates.
Oh, Sidebar.
So when Amy and I would be at the beach together, sitting there, she had like this makeup mirror or something, and we would see like little kids running around in the sand, and we would call them candidates. And what they were a candidate for was Amy positioning the mirror into the sun so she was like blind the kid. Yeah, we were devils.
We would shine the reflection of the mirror. We like do like send a signal to the
SOS.
Look, there's a candidate. There's a candidate for the
Oh my God.
thing. Okay, I know people aren't going to understand this, but it used to crack us up. But anyway, we digress.
Well, that doesn't take much. But you know what? I'd be willing to bet something that people out there know exactly what we're talking about. So we'll just target them. But anyway, I digress. Yeah, that was a serious sidebar. But anyway, yeah. So I guess the whole point of this podcast is like, you know, I think that subconsciously we hear things in our auditory realm that we don't actually realize might be affecting us and stressing us out and causing trauma responses and those whatever cortisol levels to spike and stuff like that. And those things, a buildup of that is not good for your soul. So, so I guess, you know, you're talking about breathing and doing meditative things instead of, or you can do my take, which is shut up, quiet. That offers release as well. So, you know, I guess it's, you can pick whichever avenue, you know, suits you best. But,
well,
anyway,
we bring it up because I think a lot of more people experience this than we realize, and we just kind of internalize it. So like we want to do here on Whiskey Chicks, we want to talk about relatable things. I mean, maybe there's some folks out there right now that are having an aha moment. They're like, oh my God, that's me, you know? And there's a real name for it, you know? So we just kind of want to put it out there like, hey, you're not alone.
You're not alone. You misophonic folk, you're not alone. You might just have
Misophonians unite.
Yeah, misophonian, not phony, not like F-O, wait, what's phony? P-H-O-N-Y?
Yeah, but that's
Is that how you spell phony?
P-H, yeah.
Oh. So it's fake miso soup. I'm just kidding.
But it's phone like telephone, like sound.
Yeah.
So
or
it's
maybe
like phony.
Is it, or like phonic, like with the ear,
Phonic,
right?
like with ears, like yeah, sound.
Like hooked on phonics, but it's hooked on misophonia. Maybe it's misophonica. I don't know.
Play the harmonica.
I'm just being stupid now, but
so am I.
Anyway, well, should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, and no homework tonight.
Whoa! You're gonna have some extra time to party. Amy's not giving homework tonight.
We just want you to rest easy that there are other misophonians out there if you feel like you fall into that category.
Misophonians. I think you might have made up a word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
We make up lots of stuff on here, I'm sure.
Well, that's part of the reason why we started this podcast is because we have our own freaking language. But anyway, well, you folks out there, you enjoy your homework-free evening tonight, or day today, or evening tonight, because Amy's feeling generous.
What are you going to do with all that extra time?
End it here for this episode of Whiskey Chicks by What Would Old Nana Say?
Be true to yourself.